Okay, so we're back with another voiceover over a workout, and I wanted to do a voiceover over this workout because it is a 20-minute long, like, chipper style workout. But it's weird because it's not like traditional chippery. It's like more chippery because it's like a clean ladder with lots of interference of the legs and lots of interference on your core at the same time. So I thought this was a really, really spicy workout, and also a great workout to kind of see where you are with your leg strength, under fatigue of your legs from the rowing, and also under fatigue of your core from the toaster bar. So let's just get into the workout. So as I said, this is a 20-minute chipper with like a classic CrossFit mix: rowing, toaster bar, cleans. And basically this kind of workout that kind of looks like pretty simple on the paper, like looks like it's like, you know, you've got your 3 stations, you just work through them, but there's a lot to it that you kind of have to make sure that you hit right, because it's a 20-minute long workout, so it is really, really long, and it ends on a really heavy bar, so you want to make sure that you're hitting everything right to make sure that you are getting the most out of the workout. So the workout is so it starts with a 20 cal row for women. I think it's 24 calories for men. Then you go straight into 20 toaster bar. Then it's 15, 12, 9, 6 max reps of cleans. So you have to do every time after you do the full clean reps. So after the first 15, you go back to the row and the toaster bar. Then 12, row, toaster bar. 9, row, toaster bar. 6, row, toaster bar. And basically the aim of the workout is, obviously depending on your strength, depending on your abilities, is just to get through as many cleans as possible in the most time efficient way as possible. And obviously the intention is to get to the last bar and do as many reps as possible on that last heavy weight. So the weight for women is quite heavy. I will have to reconfirm and put on the screen the weight for men because I genuinely can't remember, and I'll have to ask Ross. But the weight for women starts at 43 kilos, it then goes 56 kilos, then goes 75, 85, and ends on 95 kilos. So obviously 95 kilos is a very heavy barbell for anyone. Like, it was a heavy barbell for me, and I was genuinely really worried about getting to that last barbell and whether I would do well or whether I wouldn't. So we'll just talk about all of that as we go through the video. Just to kind of set the scene, this wasn't part of like any competition prep, it's just basically daily training. But I did want to use it as a test piece to kind of like see where I was. These like heavy pieces don't come up that much in training. I'd say we probably have heavy pieces maybe like once or twice a month, where we have workouts where the last barbell, or there is a barbell that is really heavy, and it's kind of just to test where you are and how well you can get through the workout. Obviously, if you are someone who just doesn't have the strength to do it, and you know from the outset that you won't be able to do it, then you'll have to just scale it and like put the weights down. I'll put some scaled options on the screen, so if you do want to give this workout a go, you can do it. But the aim is to kind of just do the workout, see where you are, what can you hit, like are you able to work through it and get to as far as possible. That's basically the aim. Where we are in my cycle right now, like I know that I can clean 95. I just didn't know that whether with all of the core interference from all the toaster bar, because by the time you get to that last bar, you've got 15, 12, 9, 6. You got 5 rounds of 20 toaster bars. That's 100 toaster bar going into a heavy clean, plus the fatigue of your legs from the row. I didn't know whether I was going to be able to do a clean, let alone like get to that barbell, because it's such a long workout. So it was basically a test piece to see how far I could get and whether I would be able to hit that last barbell, which obviously I really wanted to because it was like, I was like really excited to be able to get to that 95 kilo barbell because I wanted to see how I would get on. Just quickly, whilst I'm doing this on the video, I just want to say that if you are going to give this workout a go, try to make sure that you have someone to load your bar, or have like 5 bars loaded, because loading and unloading the bar, is like super tiring. I want to say like on your lower back, as well as like kind of takes away from the rest period that you're supposed to get. Also, you lose a lot of time. Like even just me taking off the discs just then lost like between 20 and 30 seconds, which in a workout which is 20 minutes long doesn't seem like a big deal, but those 20 to 30 seconds could be the rest that you need before you go into the next barbell, like the rest that you need to kind of like gather yourself before you go into the next heavy barbell. So just try to have like someone who can load your weight, or as I said, have different barbells. So before this workout, I think I would be honest, like I was genuinely really excited, really nervous, because I wanted to do well and wanted to get to the last barbell. At this stage in training, we're quite deep into a training block, so I am feeling like pretty beaten up, like tired. I wouldn't say like I'm like exhausted. Like once I get going, I usually feel fine, but it is hard to not feel like I am really tired in this moment. Like my legs are tired. So I was excited because I wanted to see where I could get, but I was worried because my legs were already tired, like whether or not I was going to be able to do it. But again, that's the whole point of the test piece, is to kind of put you into that like almost like competition mindset, whereby you've had events, you're going to be tired, but there's like a big event coming up and you need to be able to do it. It's like kind of mimicking that same competition prep that you then need to have going into a competition. So I was feeling tired, but I was feeling really motivated, and I was like really excited to get this workout going because rowing is good for me. I'm pretty good at toes to bar, and I know that I can deal with a heavy barbell. So I wanted to see how far I could actually get. So going back over the reps, so we start with a 20 calorie row. Now the intended stimulus for this isn't to go out like unbelievably hot. You don't want to be like pulling the row like really, really crazy. I would say what I did was just to hold an easy, maintainable, but not slow pace, which means that when you come off of the row, you can immediately jump into the toes to bar and start working on those toes to bar. The intention of the row is just to kind of spike your heart rate a little bit, fatigue the legs a little bit, but not to make you feel so tired that you can't then go straight into the next exercise. If you go too hard on the row, you will just end up losing like wind and losing like stamina, because the main aim of the workout is the cleans. The main aim isn't to go super fast on the row. So just pick a pace that you know that you can do, something that is achievable, something that is manageable for you, but also not too slow. So you'll be puffing a little bit, but still able to grab the bar and go into the toes to bar comfortably. That's what I would say. Now, the toes to bar, obviously the main stimulus of this is to tire out your core. Depending on how tired your core gets, you will need to break this up differently. So you may notice in the workout that Ross only breaks it up into 2 sets, whereas I'm breaking it up into 3 sets. That is because his core fatigue is like less than mine, so he's able to go for bigger sets without having that like fatigue build up really quickly. If I tried to do 20 unbroken, or 20 unbroken or in 2 sets, I would start to feel the pump in my core, and I would maybe start to break down a little bit, and the transition from the toes to bar to the cleans wouldn't be so good. So I split it up into 8-8-4, which is obviously just broken into 3 sets to make up that 20, whereas Ross I think did 12-8 every single time. Reflecting on the workout, I think maybe I could have done 12-8, but it's because the stimulus and the aim isn't to focus on the toes to bar and the rowing. I was happy that I managed to manage my core fatigue and then get to the cleans and like hammer away at the cleans slowly but surely to make sure that I get to that last bar is basically what I wanted to do. I think there's a very important element here in this specific workout where you need to realize the focus is only on the cleans. So you need to do whatever you have to do in the row and the toes to bar to make sure that you get to those cleans in the best shape you possibly can, to avoid like having fatigue and not being able to complete the reps. Because let's be real, the barbell is heavy, okay? So core fatigue and leg fatigue, it's gonna build, it's gonna be nasty, and you're gonna have to make sure that you're as ready as you can be to get there, basically. So just bear that in mind, break it up as you need to. I wouldn't like break it up into more than 3 sets. I think 3 sets is pretty manageable. You can do 8-8-4, or you can do 8-7-5, or just like break it up into manageable chunks. If you can just do 10-5-5, which isn't something that I would recommend because I always find like whole numbers freak me out. So I tend not to do those. But I think that if you can do it, like if you need to break it up, don't be scared to break it up, because the main focus is the cleans. So my strategy, because this is a 20-minute long AMRAP, which is really long, like really long. I think it's a lot of time for your heart rate to be elevated. It's a lot of time for you to build fatigue. It's a lot of time for you to have like fatigue settling in your legs and your core. So my strategy was just to keep a really steady pace on the row, go for like some good sets on the toes to bar, and then just really like quick singles on the cleans, but like drop and go. So you'll see that I'm doing it from the pads. Ideally you would do it from the floor, but because in the gym that we have, you can't drop the barbell on the floor, we were just like, right, we'll just do it off the pads, because otherwise it's going to be really tiring to like drag it off and pull it back on. So yeah, basically the strategy was slow on the row, steady on the toes to bar, and then just like singles on the cleans. Just keep moving that barbell, and then just like don't stop. So on the toaster bar, I just want to say that something else that I forgot to mention, your grip does get taxed. So this is another reason for you to break it up where you need to make sure that your like grip isn't getting tired for when you get to the cleans. Obviously with the cleans, I did say that I was doing singles. If you choose to go touch and go, which because it's a 20-minute AMRAP, I definitely wouldn't recommend, but each to their own. If you do choose to do that, just be wary that your grip may go, obviously coming from the row, which is grippy, then going to the toaster bar, which is grippy, and then going to the cleans, which again is grippy, whether you do it singles or whether you do it touch and go, however you do it is going to be grippy. Just try to manage that as much as you can, and if you do start to feel like it's going, just break it up where you need to break it up. It's a 20-minute long AMRAP, so you have a lot of time, and if you need to make up a bit of time in certain areas, then you can do that. So if you're someone who's like a little bit not as good at toaster bar, maybe push the row a little bit more. Or if you're someone who's not as good at rowing, maybe push the toaster bar a little bit more. But this is just like individual things. I think, like I said, because I'm pretty confident on the row, I can pull like a pretty steady pace. I felt more comfortable breaking up the toaster bar, making sure that I get those done in like a good time and like manage my grip and manage my core fatigue. That's basically what I did. For the cleans, like I think movement tips wise, I would just say try to be as technically consistent as you can. Do whatever you need to do to have like a proper setup routine to make sure that when you step in to do one of the cleans that you are ready to do the cleans. Because when I step up to a bar, I have like a very like certain way that I do it, and I know that as soon as I do that right, I'm ready to lift. I usually put my thumb like that on the bar to measure out the space, then hook grip, then set and go. Whilst that is a little bit lengthy and probably not ideal, especially in competition like environments, it usually just helps me to make sure that I'm in the right position and that I can keep moving correctly. The last thing that you want to do, especially as it's getting like it's a pretty heavy barbell, is to do yourself any harm or move wrong or do something that you don't want to do, like hurt yourself, because that's obviously not what we want. So just try to move correctly, use the tools that you need to. If you need to put a belt on, put a belt on. If you have knee sleeves, I would suggest putting on knee sleeves. Just take care of yourself where you can. Never, as I say on this channel all the time, there is no shame in using tools that are available to you to use. Belts, knee sleeves are never going to help you like go further than you are capable of going. Like they're just there as an aid. They're never going to be like, if you haven't got them or whatever, that what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that basically knee sleeves and belts isn't going to mean that you're going to magically be able to like power clean 150 kilos. It just means that you can do so with a little bit of extra safety, a little bit of extra comfort, a little bit of extra something to make sure that you are safe and sound whilst doing the workout. So at this point, we're just over halfway through, and I think like the leg fatigue was starting to settle in. The row was like a little bit tough, but I felt pretty good. Like I was pretty surprised by how easily the cleans moved, and I think that getting to the 85 kilo bar, I was actually pretty excited to get through it. I thought that because I'd already made through quite a bit of the workout that I would definitely get to the 90 kilo bar with a bit of time. You obviously have to wait and see whether I do or don't get there. 95 kilo bar, sorry. And yeah, it was just like, it's weird. Sometimes before you start a workout, you think that you're going to get to a certain point, or you think that you're not going to get to a certain point, and then you get there and you're like, oh, I've actually like pretty surprised myself. And I often have to like check myself and be like, right, of course you made it to this point. Now how, like, what is your plan of attack to go here? Because you didn't think you were going to get here. Now you're here. Like, what are you going to do? I think often I do get questions like, did you not find that really hard? Like, it looked really easy. Like, how did you do that? And a lot of the time I do self-doubt myself before I start a workout. Like, obviously I know that I can clean 95 kilos. I've done it loads of times. I've power cleaned 105. I've power cleaned 100. It's not a weight that usually like bothers me, but because I haven't done this CrossFit stuff for a long time, I still, every time before I start a workout, I doubt myself. And because I have the interference of the row and the toaster bar, it was genuinely something that I was concerned about, and I wasn't sure whether I was going to be able to do it. And so if I look confident, if I look like I know what I'm doing, a lot of the time I really don't, and a lot of the time I really do doubt myself, and I'm not sure that I'm going to do it, and I have like really big insecurities, and a lot of the time it's me just fighting those battles and trying to get through it. Especially now on these toaster bars, you can see that I'm getting pretty tired, like I'm taking a lot of rest, whereas like Ross isn't, he's already back to the bar. And so the doubt starts to settle in. My technique is a little bit slower. It's a little bit like slower to get the toes to the bar. And so panic settles in, and then I have to try and find my confidence again in the movement to be able to move through, because otherwise I do get like really like panicky and my breathing starts to go funny. And so I really have to like reassure myself throughout the workout. I don't know whether that's something that you guys do. Just let me know, like whether you have like self-doubt moments in the workouts where you have to kind of like pinch yourself and like wake yourself up and just think, right, we're in it now, so we have to finish it no matter what happens. Like it doesn't matter if it doesn't go as well as you thought it was going to, but we just have to move through it. I think that's basically my mindset all the time. Is just like however you get on is fine. You just have to move through the weights and try and get as far as you can. So these 85, I think 85 is usually the weights where I start to panic a little bit, where I start to get a little bit nervous, because I know that if I do it wrong, then I could miss it. Before that, it's just like, if I do it a little bit wrong, not really bothered, doesn't really matter. But I was genuinely like nervous before this, and so I wanted to get it right. I think I really pleasantly surprised myself on this one, and was happy with the way that it was moving. As you can see, I'm taking like a good amount of rest. We're now getting to the back end of the workout. We've had 16 minutes of pure fatigue, legs, core, and like strength. And so you need to just take your time and try and just make it through this bit. Because there's only one barbell after this, I think I did let myself relax a little bit too much and lost a lot of time. Whereas I think I could have probably just moved through it a little bit faster and then given myself more time at the end with the last barbell. But really happy with how these 85 kilos moved. I think that all things considered, pleasantly surprised myself and managed to pop out of the hole like pretty well. So if you want to talk about pacing, transitions, where I lost time, where I gained time, I think if you watch the whole workout back, where I lost most of my time is throughout the workout. My breaks on the toaster bar get longer and longer, despite the fact that it's only 884. So like, I would say that between the 8s, the rest is fine, whatever. Like sometimes it can be hard, but between the 8 and the 4, really it should be a drop and go. Like it should be like, right, I've done 8, all I've got to do now is 4, so just jump back up on the bar. But I didn't do that. So I think that is where I lost a lot of time. I think that it's becoming strict with yourself and knowing when you should push, when you shouldn't push. And I think I should have pushed harder then to try and get those reps in, to try and make sure that everything like was a bit smoother and a bit faster. The row for me, I thought was pretty good. I think I held like a 1200 pace pretty much the whole time, which I'm happy with. That is a pretty good pace to be holding on a 20-minute workout. Not bothered about that. The cleans, as I said with the 85, there were some points where I stepped back for a little bit too long. But you know when you're in it and you think that you can't do it, and then obviously I think a lot of the time doing a workout is learning the workout, and if you can redo it later on, then something that you can do. Something that I would recommend anyone to do is, if you have a workout where you think that you could have done better, or you know areas where you could do better, just write it down in your notes, and then in like 6 months time, do that workout again and like read the notes where you think you could have gone better, and then try to implement that the next time that you do it. I think this is one of these workouts where I would want to do that. Faster transitions after the 8 and 4, keep the rows steady, and then just keep picking up the barbell one after the other, because you know that you can do it basically. So there are lots of mistakes, small ones, but that's okay. As I said, just like write them down on your phone. Mine were too slow on the toaster bar transitions, should have been a little bit faster. Maybe break it up slightly differently to mentally give myself some like more rest. So 9-7-4 instead of 8-8-4, because then mentally it's easier to think that, oh, I've done the majority, so now I have to go down again. So maybe it would have been better to do like a smarter break. Another mistake, taking too long on the transitions with the cleans. Should just be drop and go singles. Try to like move through it fast enough, because if you watch the speed, I stand up really, really fast, so I shouldn't have that much rest. The next thing is, whilst I did need a belt, a lot of the time I do spend a lot of time faffing with the belt, and I don't think that for all of the sets it was necessary. So I think that maybe I should have probably spent less time faffing with the belt on the lower sets, and then given myself more time to faff with the belt when I actually need the belt. Another thing here, taking off my grips. There's like 20 seconds left in the workout, and for some reason I'm taking off my grips. I'm taking so long to put the belt on, so I'm like I've lost like 15 seconds of time when there's only like 10 seconds left, and I wanted to get at least 2 cleans. So it's like small things like that where I should have made some adjustments. But that's okay. Happy with that. I'm really happy with the way I'm moving. I think this is really good contributing into the competition prep which we're doing for the fitness challenge games. I'm happy that I'm feeling like pretty strong, that I can pretty like move barbells pretty well, and it's all looking pretty good, so I'm very happy with that. If you guys have any questions, just pop them in the comments below. I'd be more than happy to answer them. How would you guys break this up? Like, let me know what your approach would be. Do you think you would make it to the last barbell, or what barbell do you think would be like the tough one for you? Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.